This is it, the grand finale to this Little Big Planet marathon. This time, I'm going to talk about two games, so double whammy review. To close out the Little Big Planet marathon, let's first talk about Little Big Planet Karting, followed by Run Sackboy Run. Little Big Planet Karting is a kart racing spin-off game developed by United Front Games and SCE San Diego studio, who before this game developed the 2010 user-generated content for another kart racing game, Mod Nation Racers, which you can actually download the demo for if you were to buy a physical copy of Little Big Planet 2. So, if you want to try out Mod Nation Racers, just get a physical copy of Little Big Planet 2 and try out the demo. I certainly had my fair share of good time playing it. Anyway, back to Little Big Planet Karting. It was released in North America on November 6, 2012, a day later in Europe, another day later in Australia, and finally November 17th, 2013 in Japan. So before we jump into the standard gameplay, this kart racing game actually has a plot to it. So the game takes place immediately after Little Big Planet 2. The story mode features Sackboy racing against the Horde, who are planning to steal the craft versus prize for no reason other to hoard them. Really? Eh, whatever. They're generic bad guys, to be honest. Who, who for that reason alone is a generic motivation. No reason other to hoard them. Really? Anyways, on with the plot. Players begin the story mode by hopping into a cart, which had been crashed by a member of the Horde and takes off after them to reclaim the stolen prizes. Sackboy races through many places ransacked by the Horde. The Sackbots aid him on his quest this time. Why the Sackbots aid us in this quest instead of the likes of other iconic characters like Larry da Vinci, I have no idea. The adventure begins with the Queen asking Sackboy to clear the Horde from Little Big Planet. Afterwards, Sackboy travels to a tropical beach-like planet called Monster Islands, where a local named Ray the turtle asks for help locating the legendary huge monster. A bit of a dumb name for a legendary monster. I was expecting it to have like a better name instead of huge monster. You can literally say that about any other monster outside of the Little Big Planet universe. Godzilla, Mechagodzilla, Mothra, King Kong. Anyways, by the time they find her, they discover that the Horde have stolen her egg. So Sackboy must take it back. The Horde also attempts to steal the Brainergy and, and pastries from Victoria's laboratory, which is now a separate planet, by the way, apart from it being a part of the world of where Little Big Planet 2 took place. In the process of stealing, Horde with the technology on the futuristic theme park planet Progress Emporium and on Eve's asylum, Venus the Flytrap. Her, 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 her. Very funny. Venus Flytrap. Venus the Flytrap. Venus the Flytrap warned Sackboy that the Horde are unintentionally summoning evil forces, such as the flaming centipede that threatens to burn down the forest. Smokey the Bear would not be proud, as they steal more things. Finally, Sackboy visits, and I'm probably gonna butcher this name of this world, Avalonia. I'm pretty sure that's how most people pronounce it. If it is, good job, me. We're the brother of Avalon's centrifuge from Little Big Planet 2, Captain Sirius Oculus. I'm just gonna call him Captain Oculus because it sounds like Captain Obvious. Invite Sackboy and a Horde to a party on his nightclub space station. And people say Bayonetta 1 is, cuckoo, cuckoo. The Space Bass is the name of the nightclub space station, by the way. Soon, however, the entire space base, along with Captain Oculus, is sucked into a nearby anomaly known as the funkhole. The funkhole. Why do I expect that to play some sort of jazzy music? Which leads to the planet where the Horde stashed their collection. After Sackboy defeats a giant monster that arises from the dump, the Horde redeemed their mistake and decide to not hoard anymore. The planet explodes and scatters the Horde stuff all over the Craftverse. So, that's the main plot of LBP Karting. To be honest, it was quite strange going over the plot of this game because usually there aren't any forms of a plot or story in any kart racing game back in 2012, at least from what I can remember. So the plot is very stop the group of baddies and save the world, which for a kart racing game I am willing to give a pass. Now let's move on to the gameplay. Gameplay of LBP Karting is like your standard racing game where each player races go-karts across a variety of themed tracks, with the primary purpose is to come in first place. Throughout the course of the race, players can pick up weapons that have special abilities, such as projectiles, heat-seeking projectiles, EMPs, and even grenades. The player can use these weapons to attack and slow down competitors. Weapons can be fired both forward and backwards, much like the green and red shell in Mario Kart. And it can even cancel out heat-seeking missiles when fired in reverse. Players can also pick up boost items such as the autopilot and the fast forward. Karting includes LittleBigPlanet 2's grappling hook mechanic during races. Players are required to grapple across large chasms, climbing through the environments to progress, and occasionally even finding elevated shortcuts. Players also have the ability to reach out and slap somebody, stunning the racers who get too close. Now that is awesome. So, Nintendo, if you were to make a Mario Kart 9, please add that mechanic. Like, a player gets too close. That would be hilarious and awesome, and I will be expecting a compilation of that if that were to happen. There are also dozens of modes, some of which are like in other car racing games, such as the aforementioned Mario Kart with Battle Mode. But there are also some unique modes exclusive to this game, such as waypoint races and treasure hunts. Now, of course, there are also UGC, where we can play on other players' tracks that they made via the PSN. So overall, Little Big Planet Karting seems like it's good in the gameplay department. But what's the final verdict? Gathering all my general thoughts on the story, gameplay, and my general enjoyment, I can definitely say Little Big Planet Karting is definitely a fairly good PlayStation kart racing game. Plus, since it's on PlayStation 3, you don't have to pay to play online. So that alone is a major plus. I am giving Little Big Planet Karting a 9.5 out of 10. It kind of falls short due to the difficulty I had to endure just to get a physical copy since I cannot download it off of the PlayStation 3 PlayStation Store. So, let's move on to Run Sackboy Run. So, Run Sackboy Run, a free-to-play endless runner, which was released on iOS devices on October 30th, 2014, with an Android release on December 17th, 2014 via the Google Play Store. And finally, the PlayStation Vita on March 31st, 2015. This game doesn't have a real plot to it, except for Sackboy running through numerous worlds from the franchise while also running from the Negativitron, returning from Little Big Planet 2. In terms of gameplay, we basically use the touchscreen for basically every move. Other than it being what feels like the finale to this series, all I can say is that I hope Media Molecule's newest game, Dreams, does very well. Especially with Sony filing a cease and desist on the fan game Little Big Planet Restitched for PC. So, I hate to say this, but I'm gonna be giving Run Sackboy Run my final score of a 5 out of 10. I don't see why you would play this game other than to see if you can get the highest score possible. But anyway, I hope you all enjoyed this Little Big Planet review marathon. If you enjoy any of these, so my questions. Did you enjoy any of these games? Could you possibly recommend them to a friend? Leave your answers in the comments below. Be sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on the notification bell to be notified of my next upload. And follow me on Twitter and Instagram. Links are down below. For the next review marathon, I am saving it for April, so I could talk about the series that made me the gamer I am today. If you know me in real life, you most likely know what franchise I'm talking about. Anyways, I've been Orchid, and I will bid you all a good old farewell. Take care, everybody.